Hits by the pound.
Yeah, this is how we do it in the Central Coast, man. We got 40 ounces, Old English, rag tops, 6'4" Impalas, and bikini girls, man. This is how we do it on the West Coast. San Diego, San Francisco, Los Angeles. But don't forget about the Central Cali, man. Please don't forget about the Central Cali. Yeah, get 'em.
It's another sunny day in the state of California. Low rider palm trees and G's that put it on ya. This ain't a negative, we speaking ebonics. Rank talk, candy paint on D's with hydraulics. Baseball hat with the sticker on the brim. Don't let the sun blind your sight, cause things can get grim. But I'm not here to talk about banana clips and guns. We're going back to Cali and we're gonna have some fun. A West Coast domination.
And welcome back to Two-Face Entertainment Podcast. I am your host, Fred Segura, out here in Monterey County, also known to the world as the Salad Bowl, also known as the Salinas Valley. To the people in LA, we are north. To the people in San Francisco, we are south. Right smack in the middle, best of both worlds. Don't forget about the Central Cali. Anyway, folks, today we are going to talk about Indigenous Day. And Indigenous, the whole thing that's come into play now, where we choose to change things from history, right? Hence Christopher Columbus and the belief of, well, did he really discover anything? You know, did he just savagely, take over and conquer and that kind of stuff? To the Native Americans, I'm not here to offend anybody in that sense, guys. Because at the end of the day, I'm pro-choice, man. Hey, whatever you believe in, whatever you rock with, so be it, right? However, freedom of speech, right? So I feel like I need to give my opinion on to how I see it. I'm not condoning what, the violence per se. But let's just get into this, right? Ask yourself one question. Are you still the same person you were a year ago? Are you the same person you were 5 years ago? Right? We've matured, we've grown, we've learned, right? So that with by saying that is, we cannot, blame morals on something that happened 500 years ago. It's like, well, times have changed. There's no longer that way of living. We've became civilized now. There was no vehicles at that time. There was, stuff like that. Do we really know what happened? Or are we just basing it off of, what we learned in school, what we Google, because that's our research, right? Do we really understand what happened? I heard, and shout out to Mike at Chicano Tube. I was watching him last night actually, and he mentioned something about, he believed that when they came to America, they just started going at it because they were starting to get attacked. And they ended up, from my understanding was, they ended up conquering. And technically they defended themselves, and we just, they took over. All right. But in that same sense, guys, we really don't know what happened. So, with that being said, I tend to look at things like, we want to change things because we want to make it sound better. It just sounds better. It's not as offensive no more. We're afraid of being offended, right? So So I dare ask one question then. So this November, when I go to the grocery store to purchase my turkey for the family, there should be plenty. There should be plenty even on the day before, right? Pumpkin pie, all the dressings and everything else. There should be plenty of that, because if we're changing the history because it was wrong, then that means that a lot of people who truly believe in that, and respect to you, I mean, I'm not gonna, I'm not trying to go there, but I would also expect you to not celebrate Thanksgiving, right? Which, in a sense, I mean, think about it. This Thanksgiving should be every day that we sit down and have a meal, right? And be grateful for what we have. Don't worry about what we don't have, and that I do agree with. But however, since the tradition is that we celebrate Thanksgiving in the month of November every year, I tend to believe that since we're changing the history and everything else, that a lot of you will not be celebrating Thanksgiving from now on, from from this time on, Um, and I'm gonna go on a limb in a sense. I mean, is it I'm not gonna go there. I was gonna say something, and that's just gonna be very bad, so I'm not gonna go there. But uh, what are we really doing? So if you want to label things like, oh, and it's Indigenous Day, and okay, granted, hey, to each his own. It's a free country. Hey, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, right? You have that right. However, don't be hypocritical, right? To where I've known some people that say, well, I can't celebrate Christmas, right? But I can receive gifts. It's like, hey, whoa. It's part of the celebration, bro. It's part of the celebration. There's no fine line in there in between that says, oh, no, I can't receive gifts. I don't celebrate whatever, but I will take, I don't celebrate Thanksgiving, but I will take a plate. It's like, no. That's not how it works, bro. It's either you're in it because you truly believe in that, or you're not in it at all. There is no half stepping here. And I'm being, honest about it. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, guys. I'm really watering it down to this point. Okay. It's just a very tough decision that people kind of like, when they change something or they say something, and maybe it may sound good at the time, and you're like, oh yeah, yeah, whatever. And again, shout out now to my friend Cholo Trucker, which when people speak, sometimes they just, I find this kind of funny, but it's true. People say something and they're like, everybody kind of nods in agreement, like, yeah, But really think about what's happening here. Think about what's happening here. If we're gonna cut off everything else that happened in history, we're gonna ignore or shy away from, like, oh, that's not what happened. This is what happened. Well, again, going back to what my friend Mike at Chicano Tube said. Shout out to those guys. Shout out to Cholo Trucker. Shout out to Chicano Tube. What if they showed up on the boat and they started getting attacked? But we're over here 500 years later trying to debate them. Like, oh no. They came in and just started slaughtering all these people, innocently. They, whatever. What if they did embrace them? And what if they did, kind of just turn around and start, killing them? Or was there a lot of stuff going on with the women? that perhaps the early settlers didn't agree with. Anything could have happened. Was it they all sat down and had dinner, on Thanksgiving or whatever, and one of the people at the table just started talking too much, and they got into it with somebody else, and then they just went from there, and then they turned into a big old. I'm just trying to be humorous here, but in reality, guys, we're trying to change everything to make it just sound better, to make us feel better. It's more psychological than it is facts. At the end of the day, let's be honest. It's more psychological than it is facts, because we don't know. We have no way of knowing. We just know by whatever we were taught in school, whatever we have researched, but there is no fact to figure it out, to say, hey, you know what? This is indeed what really happened. This is how it really went down. So therefore, if it makes you that uncomfortable about it, then you know what, guys, then so be it. Feel free to do whatever. But at the end of the day, too, though, guys, you cannot be celebrating it, because it's either you're in or you're out. There is no half stepping into this. Again, if you say, well, you know what, I'm gonna go to, let's just say I'm gonna go to the party, but I'm not going to drink. I'm gonna be the double D, the designated driver, right? Then you stick with that, right? You stick with that. You go, okay, you know what? I'm not going. I'm not gonna drink. I'm not gonna go in there. I'm gonna be, I'm gonna drink water or whatever, right? Same difference. Same difference. You are hardcore gun-ho about, hey, we got to change this, and this is the way things got to be, because we can't be offensive to anybody. You know what? Anything and everything that you do is going to offend somebody somehow, some way, somewhere. That's just a fact. That's just the way life is. I don't know where we all of a sudden we have tried to get into this whole thing about, we got to be very careful because we're not, we're trying to be politically correct. Hey, you know what? We could agree to disagree and still be cool, man. But a lot of people don't see things that way anymore. Everybody kind of stands around and wants to follow the leader to somebody, and God knows what it is. Just because it sounds good at one point doesn't necessarily make it a fact. Right? You got to think for yourself. Even what I'm saying here, some people may look at it and be like, wow, yeah, that's true. Or some people may say, hey, man, this guy's full of it. Hey, so be it, whatever it is. But have a good enough valid reason and a valid argument, other than than throwing up a bunch of smoke or a bunch of cuss words or just calling somebody names because of how they look or whatever. No, come with some real facts of how you feel and why you think it should be this way. But again, facts being that we cannot go back 500 years and realize and figure out what really happened. You may be able to find, whatever, this is where they landed at. Come on, guys, come on. Things are what they are. This is tradition. Thanksgiving dinner is tradition. What's next? Christmas? What's next? Your birthday? Because maybe let's just say your dad didn't show up to your birth. So, should we really celebrate your birthday because it wasn't, whatever? No, but you still had a birthday. That's wrong. But I'm just saying, you know what, dude? People, you can't just throw it out there and try to change it to make it feel better. Things are what they are. There's many of us that have lost loved ones. And maybe lost a loved one before we were even born, for that matter, But at the end of it all, can you really, I'm getting at loss for here, but can you really, there's nothing you can say or do that's going to change the fact of what's already happened, right? We have to proceed forward and live on. And make right for whatever else. If we see it wrong, whatever it may be, then we proceed forward to make it better. But we can't change what's already happened. You cannot change the past. Whether you can love it, you can hate it, you can despise it, you can never change the past. It already happened, right? That's just the fact of the matter. We are going back now and trying to change history, trying to change everything back to make it sound better that we were this perfect place and everything else happened this way and certain people did certain bad things to good people. It's like, no, you know what, man, it goes both ways. Here we are 500 years later and we're trying to dictate not dictate, trying to figure out how it went down. Don't worry about it. Proceed ahead. If you want to change it, if you feel personal about it, then you know what, so be it. But don't step in to celebrate a holiday or a tradition into something that you truly don't believe in. I'll tell you one thing, I am going to munch down. It's pretty obvious, right? I haven't skipped any meals, guys. Sorry. But anyhow, I'm just, you know what, guys? This is not meant to offend anybody. This is just trying to bring you guys into perspective of what things are. Some things you just got to let go. You just got to let it go. You just got to let it go and be like, hey, you know what? Hey, it is what it is. I shouldn't be worried about that. I'm living my life right now. I don't know how many years I got in front of me. Yeah, I know how many years I got behind me. I don't know how many years I got in front of me. I don't got time to worry about how things happened or whatever the case may be, right? Let's live life and continue to do what it is and be, happy and joyful. And hey, you know what? If things went down the wrong way, then hey, so be it. Unfortunate. That was unfortunate, right? But true, you can't change it. You can't change what already happened. So anyway, guys, with that, this is Two-Face Entertainment Podcast. I am your host, Fred Segura, signing out.